Hey guys, it's KG.codes here, and today I want to talk about question I get a lot is how I approach architecting large development projects, large apps, large services, large websites, and some of the best advice I got from the industry and from coworkers, from bosses that really helped me out was that you should start by architecting and writing down and documenting your solution, thinking about your solution before you sit down to code. So not just sitting down to code and trying to just go through the whole thing as you're coding and changing stuff and going backwards and going forwards. Don't waste any time doing that. Spend a little bit of time at least up front designing your solution, architecting your solution beforehand, getting some second opinions on it, doing documentation or doing some diagrams or whatever you need to do to really get set in stone your approach. Maybe try out a couple different approaches. You want to make sure you do the research and you weigh out all the different options you have. So there may be more than one option. Do the research to figure out how many options there are, what's the best option for your skill set, for the time you have, and for the solution itself. Like, what's the best thing that you can do to solve this problem in the best way? The second thing you want to ask is if this problem or if this design lends itself to some sort of pattern, some sort of design pattern as far as code. Is it MVC or does it lend itself to the factory pattern, singleton pattern? There's numerous design patterns depending on the language and depending on the framework you're using. Or does it lend itself to using some sort of framework? That kind of goes into your architecture as well. But taking some time beforehand to really try to analyze your problem and see how other people have solved it and figure out the best approach as far as how your code will be designed and architected and structured, whether it's using a framework or using some sort of design pattern, is really valuable. One big thing is do not reinvent the wheel. Or not invent the wheel? Yeah, do not reinvent the wheel. You want to make sure that you're looking at what exists out there as far as like stuff you've done before or people have done out in the industry as far as like APIs, services that you can take advantage of, other developers' code you can take advantage of, your own code you can take advantage of. You want to make sure you're not doing something over again and wasting time, or you're not trying to, if you're trying to build an app that, saves books that people want to read and you want to send push notifications to remind them to read a book, you don't need to go design your own push notification system. Like maybe, your app is for reading books or having a book list, is not to be the best push notification sending app ever. So maybe for that part of it that's not like proprietary to your app, you want to go use a service for the push notifications or the emails or whatever, and you want to spend most of your time for custom development for your kind of unique value proposition of your app. Like, what's the unique thing that doesn't exist anywhere else? That's what you need to spend your time on. Don't spend your time on stuff that exists and reinventing the wheel and trying to do it, trying to just code everything yourself, when really a whole team probably spent 1,000 hours trying to develop this thing, which you'll never have the time to do, and it's better to just utilize what they have. And there's a lot of free resources out there for stuff like that you don't even have to pay for. The next thing is to write everything down, like in some form. Type everything down. You don't have to write it, but like type everything down, make diagrams, make documents, whatever you need. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but actually writing it down and seeing it and reading through it again just helps you understand a little bit better what you were trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. And also, if you need to share this with somebody to get them to review it, it makes it that much easier than trying to just spit it off from your mind. You can also come back to it and look, like if you start a project, you start architecting, you're like, nah, this is too hard, I don't want to do it right now. You can come back to that and have a head start of where you were before. But all in all, it really just helps you to really think about what you're doing when you write it down and reread it. You really think about a little better about all that it's going to take to build this and what different pieces you need. You can break it out to subsets and to handle and tackle the problem different and switch things out, et cetera, et cetera. The next thing is you want to determine what's the data flow through your app or website or whatever it is. How does data move through your application? What are the inputs? What are the outputs? How would you test this? How you would test certain inputs, deliver certain outputs. The user does this should happen. You want to kind of like design or document and really nail down what's the flow, whether that's like data flow on some service or whether that's like user interaction or user path or user flow through your application. They can go this way, they go back to this page, this happens. If they go to this page, they can go to these 3 pages. But what happens when they get done? Do they flip all the way back or do they go back 1 page? You really want to think about that before you sit down to write code, and just know, beforehand as you design your solution what all is going to be needed, so that you don't get in a position where you do go down a complete wrong path and have to really unroll all your changes to try to get to the solution that you really want. The next thing I'll say is kind of piggybacks on the other things I said, but once you kind of know your different components you need and different services and everything you need, really write down and diagram the different pieces you need for your system and how they fit together and how they can work together. It'll really go a long way as far as like how you can divide out work with different team members, or how yourself you can divide out work over time. It can show you some places where there may be some existing things you can trade out and use instead of trying to build everything on your own. There's a lot of value to doing that. The last thing I'll say is make sure, if you can, to get feedback from other developers, whether that's getting feedback at the architecture level or getting feedback on your actual code itself. You're doing code reviews. If you can help it, don't develop in a silo. Try to develop with other developers that, they're gonna see things that you miss. They're gonna have ideas that you won't have. No matter how far you go, there's always a different perspective that can help you, and there's always things you'll miss, being a human. So having a person to bounce ideas off of and review what you've done and even help you can go a long way in making sure that you deliver a great product, especially for something that's going to be large, that you really have done your due diligence and you've kind of caught things beforehand that you can, by having a second set of eyes that isn't so used to looking at what you're looking at over a long period of time. And that's pretty much it. I say this all to say that you don't want to just spend a crazy amount of time trying to architect where you don't even start doing what you're gonna do, but just putting a little bit of time up front to try to architect solution and document things and get it right in your mind, your team's mind, can go a long way in actually improving the quality of your large project or app or website. I'm sure there's more ideas of how to handle large projects and kind of tips for what to do up front. And so let me know if you have any ideas beyond what I've already said. Thanks, appreciate it.